What's good, YouTube? Masex back with another video, and we are back to the bread and butter of this channel, and that's none other than positional projections. Today, as you see in the title, we're looking at the top 10 overall prospects. More like the big board, the 2.0 version. We're looking at the top 10 prospects starting at number 10, working our way to the number 1 prospect for this class. Now I'm gonna let you guys know, I don't just copy and paste like a lot of other people you're gonna see on YouTube, where you pretty much are gonna see the same projections. Everybody has this person at number 1. This is the same tackle that you got as the number 1 tackle, the number 1 edge rusher, just like everybody else says. Mine's is a little bit different. Honestly, I hope there is a shock factor, but I do my own scouting. Each prospect on this list, I've seen at least about 30% of their snaps, just so I can at least get a pretty decent feel for it. And as you can see, this ain't the shortest video in the world, so I am just going to hop straight to it. Appreciate you guys clicking on the video. Make sure you stay to the end and see who I project as the top prospect in this class. I definitely want to hear your opinions. I want to hear your comments. Like I said, I know this is going to be a little bit different from the consensus tables that you've seen. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Appreciate the OGs supporting as always, but I've talked long enough, actually a little bit longer than I was anticipating. We're gonna go ahead and hop to it now. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, kicking things off at number 10, as I mentioned, working our way to the number 1 prospect for the class. And at number 10, I'm going defense with Mansour Delaney, cornerback out of LSU. At the combine, was measured at 5'11 and 3/4, 187 pounds. And Delaney is a cornerback that definitely burst onto the scene this past 2025 season. He's a physical press corner with strong ball skills and competitive toughness. I like Mansour Delaney's competitiveness. He's comfortable playing man coverage and contesting catches at the catch point. Obviously, those are very vital for a strong and good cornerback, especially at the NFL level. His strengths is definitely press coverage ability. You look at the top guys in the NFL, they're all press corners. He has extremely good ball skills and plays with physicality. Solidly built. 6 foot, about 190. All season long, it was all about his athleticism, his recovery speed, route anticipation. Even though he's still projected to be a day 1 pick, I think he'll be a steal because, in my opinion, he's definitely a top 10 talent. Moving on up to number 9, we got an offensive tackle out of Miami, Francis Mauigoa. At the combine, measured in at 6'1", 329 pounds. Long, lengthy arms at over 33 inches. Through most of the season has been the consensus number 1 tackle. Now, I'm still high on Mauigoa. He's a top 10 prospect in this class, but I'll admit I am a little bit lower. But he's a massive tackle, and he plays with excellent play strength and anchor ability. He excels primarily in the run game. That's definitely his calling card. I think that he's going to come in day 1 and make an impact for his team in the run game because of his strength, size, and mentality. His teammates are going to love him in that, and he's going to overpower defenders at the point of attack. That's what he loves to do. That's his calling card. His size at 6'5", 330 pounds is going to make him extremely difficult to bull rush. He has a lot of strengths, as I mentioned: power and anchor, run blocking, and experience against top competition. He started right away at Miami. 3 years of experience, has a lot of snaps under his belt. At the college level, he had a lot of penalties, or at least more penalties than a top prospect you'd like to see, and lateral quickness against speed rushers. There's been a lot of rumors of him moving inside the guard. For me, I do value that, especially in my tackles, right tackles included, which Mauigoa is a right tackle. And so that's why he's a little bit lower for me on the top 10, but as I mentioned, he's still a top 10 pick. Will likely go in the top half of the draft, maybe even the top 10, possibly as the number 1 tackle of the class. Moving on up to number 8, we're going back to the defense, and I got David Bailey, an edge rusher out of Texas Tech. At the combine, measured in at 6'4", 241 pounds, a true senior. Had a really good combine, 4.5 flat, showing that explosive straight line speed. Bailey is the most explosive edge rusher in this class. not one of the most, the most explosive edge rusher in the class. His first step and bend allowed him to threaten tackles immediately, and at the combine, watching that here in Indy, he confirmed his speed and athleticism. You watch him on film, he does have elite burst. Pass rush productivity is elite. According to PFF, 40% pressure rate on true pass sets. That's an elite score. A lot of your all-pro NFL players now had similar pressure rates in college. So he has the makeup and the profile of somebody that could be a 13 to 16 sack a year in his prime type of player. Pass rush productivity is his calling card, and I love his bend and flexibility, has the straight line speed that you want. Now, with all that, a lot of people will ask, well, how the heck do you have an edge rusher, one of the premium positions, a player with that type of report and strengths? I have to lower him because I do value rush defense consistency. Rush defense, Bailey, to me, was one of the worst amongst the top edge rushing prospects. Like, literally one of the worst in the entire edge rushing class. He's also got to do better with counters. And if he can't play the run, he's essentially just going to be a third down pass rushing specialist. Now, absolutely in the NFL, they don't pay those edge rushers top dollar to stop the run. They pay them to get after the quarterback, but you can't be that big of a liability, or at least what he's presented, where essentially they got to just keep you off the field until third down. And we've seen a lot of edge rushers with his type of athletic profile that in the NFL, when you're playing against top tier tackles, you're not always just going to bend the corner on speed. And if that's not going, what else do you really present? And that's what makes David Bailey probably the highest boom bust in the entire class. So he's still a top 8 prospect to me. It's just I'm a little bit lower. Possibly will be a top 6 pick. For me, I'm going to lower him down. All right, at number 7, we're staying defense. We got Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State, listed at 6 foot, 206 at the combine. Overall, great production. 5-star recruit. True freshman year, played at Alabama, last 2 years at Ohio State. Downs is widely considered the most instinctive defensive back in the class. His ability to diagnose plays and attack the football makes him a true game changer. We saw that in the national championship, the 24 season, with the game-sealing interception against Quinn Ewers. He's versatile enough to play safety, nickel, or box defender. Not factoring in positional value, Caleb Downs may be the best prospect in the class. Safety at the NFL level, the value is a little bit lower, so I did ding him a little bit on that. He's not the biggest safety. Some teams are going to prefer the bigger safeties if they're going to invest a top 10, top 15 pick. And even Derwin James and Kyle Hamilton, who do fit that generational size and length at the safety position, even they fell a lot lower than they should have. Even with that, Downs is probably going to be a top 10 pick, but like I said, he could slide. He has elite instincts, ball skills. Honestly, I think that he could possibly play outside corner. I think he's that versatile and athletic. So just with that versatility, just all in all, Caleb Downs, top 7 prospect for me. All right, at number 6, possibly the number 1 winner in the NFL Combine. That's Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Truly measured in at 6'5" and even weighed 244 pounds and still ran a 4.46, the fastest time, or at least tied with his teammate, who we'll be talking about soon, with the fastest 40 time for a linebacker. Super athletic, 43.5 vertical leap. I mean, he has a higher vertical than players like Dwayne Wade, Blake Griffin, 11-foot broad jump. I mean, that's Julio Jones, and he's 15, 20 pounds bigger than Julio Jones. But when you look at his profile and you go back a little bit to his history, he was a highly ranked safety coming in Ohio State, and that's what he played early on in his Ohio State career. His teammate that we just mentioned, Caleb Downs, transfers to Ohio State. Sonny Styles steps up and says, "Hey, coach, move me to linebacker." This doesn't have to be a controversy. This doesn't have to be anything that creates friction in the locker room. I'll move to safety. I want to win. That's a leader right there. The number 0 at Ohio State is only given to a student athlete that displays academic and on the field leadership, trustworthiness, and someone that teammates look up to. Sonny Styles was blessed with number 0. So it says a lot about his character in addition to his elite skill set. I mean, when we're talking about athleticism at the linebacker position, he's 99th percentile. I've heard other scouts say that he possibly had the greatest combine showing in NFL history. You'd expect coverage linebacker ability with him being a former safety. The length and range, 99th percentile height as well, 6'5", legitimate. He's still learning the linebacker position. In run defense, he's got to work on block shedding. He plays very physical, but when he does that, he takes himself out of the play a lot. Very physical, but he destroys tight ends and running backs. Just a very aggressive player. But that run fit discipline is something that maybe early on he's going to have to develop in. He's going to be more rotational just to learn the NFL way, but absolutely, this guy may have the #1 ceiling in the entire class. That combine showing, even though he is a stand-up linebacker, could very well be a top 10 pick at that position, which we haven't seen in a very long time. Sonny Styles is probably my favorite player. A lot raw at the linebacker position, as I've alluded to, so that's why he's number 6. But man, I like this guy. Even before the combine, I wanted to put him in my top 3. All right, we're moving on to top 5. And I know I talked about positional value with Caleb Downs, and we all know the running back position and Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. The running backs haven't been respected like they should, but we've seen a resurgence in the running back position the last couple years. You think about Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor had a resurgence. GMs and coaching staffs aren't as disrespectful to the running back position as we were starting to see earlier in the decade. Jeremiah Love is one of the funnest running backs to come out of college in a while. Combine solidified what we see on film. 4.36 40 at 6 foot 214 pounds. So with that size, I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta put him in the top 5. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was going to weigh in at. I thought he was sub 210, like 207, 208, 214 running a 4.36. He has the size profile to be a 3-down back. 1,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 yards a carry. Positional value or not, you got to put this guy in your top 5. I think he should be a top 10 pick. I'm even starting to see rumors where he may sneak into the top 5, just depending on if a team really wants to pull the trigger. Love is the most explosive offensive player in this draft. Burst acceleration is what allows him to generate all the big plays that he made at the college level. He's also effective in the passing game. That combination plus his size, to me, bona fide 3-down back out the gate as a rookie, obviously team dependent, but he has all the tools that you want to see in a true all-pro back. And watch the tape. The vision is really good. He's not just a straight line, just athlete dominating the college level. He's reading and reacting based off of blocking schemes and what the defense is doing. He'll continue to improve his pass protection technique. Most running backs come into the league needing to improve that. I'm not worried about that at all. He absolutely, I think, solidified himself being a top 10 pick. Okay, we're in the top 4 now. It's really getting a little spicy here. And at number 4, I have Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana, my alma mater. It's at 6'5", 236 pounds. Weighed in a lot bigger than what I thought. I was estimating around 212 to 217 pounds. So to come in at 236, I was like, whoa. Heisman Trophy winner this past season, leading Indiana on a historical ride. There's definitely going to be a movie coming out at some point in the next decade and a half. Last year, over 3,500 yards, 41 passing touchdowns, 72% completion rate. Mendoza is the clear top QB prospect in the class. Will likely be the #1 pick going to Oakland. Pretty sure he's already looking at houses out there. It's the consensus, and for good reason. Now, you see him a lot as the #1 prospect. Mendoza is the top quarterback prospect in the class because of his accuracy, his decision-making, his poise, his leadership. If you've ever seen an interview from Mendoza, you're going to instantly fall in love with the guy. Genuine guy, cares about his team, cares about winning. He's competitive. You watch him in the national championship, time after time, Indiana needed a big play. 3rd down, 3rd and 8. He knew at that point he was the first pick in the draft. and he still was out there diving and putting his body on the line. Like, your team reacts to that. Like, intangibles like that is very infectious, and that's what leads to winning football overall. He's not chaotic off-script playmaker, but his ability to operate an offense efficiently is what NFL teams value. Raiders are definitely getting the gem and a quarterback that they've needed for a very long time. You see him actually number one on most big boards. I do, honestly, taking my bias out. I've watched almost every play from Mendoza, whether in person, on film, or live TV. And I do have some concerns with improvisational playmaking. When plays go off script, he does tend to struggle a little bit more. Heavy pressure, he also struggles a little bit more with that, and I have some concerns. Arm strength is good, but not elite. Okay, so he's still, like I said, a top 4 prospect, which is very high, obviously, but I'm not ready to place him as the bona fide best player in the class. RPO system at IU, though NFL is becoming more RPO friendly as we're seeing, but the most accurate QB in the class. Ball placement is elite. Pocket presence is elite. He knows when to run, when to throw. As I mentioned, one of the best leaders I've ever seen. Definitely surprised me with his size and durability. He has elite size at 6'5", almost 240. But I do have slight concerns with his arm strength as well as his improvisational. All right, we're moving into the top 3. And at number 3, I got Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah. And yes, I do have Fano a lot higher than the average big board, but I think that Fano is going to be an elite tackle out the gate. You hear rumors about him moving inside the guard. I think that's a huge mistake, which is fine early on in his career. This guy, to me, is going to be an elite all-pro bona fide right tackle in the league. He's also played left tackle. But you look at his measurements at the combine, 6'5.5", 311 pounds. Arm length isn't a concern, over 32-inch arms, 4.91 40-yard dash, which was the top measure for 40s in the entire offensive line class. It's pretty irrelevant to a degree for a tackle, but it just shows more of what I'm talking about with his athleticism. 0 sacks allowed in 2025. In my opinion, and also in scouting reports, widely viewed as one of the most technically polished offensive linemen in the class. To me, I value technique and form because that translates. His pass set footwork, his balance, hand placement allows him to mirror edge rushers consistently, and he did that consistently at Utah. His combine speed confirmed the athleticism on tape. Some would like his arms a little bit longer. I think personally that's not going to be an issue for him. I think to a degree it's a little overrated, but because of that, that's why the conversations about him moving in the guard exist. I'd still think that that's a mistake. He's not a dominant power blocker. Some teams may value that, but he makes up for a lot of that with his technique, footwork, high football IQ, and he has the best movement skills in the entire offensive line class. I think he should be a top 10 pick. I think he should be the number 1 tackle off the board. I've seen projections pretty much from top 10 all the way to the middle of the first round. So Spencer Fano, I'm telling you, he is the best offensive lineman in the entire class. All right, moving on to number 2, we got Ruben Bain Jr., edge rusher out of Miami. Everybody was very curious about his size going into the combine. 6'2", 263 pounds. And I think we all knew he wasn't 6'3", 270. Honestly, he looked closer to 6'1" than 6'3" to me. So 6'2", that's pretty solid. Probably lost a little weight. But last year, 13 sacks, 57 pressures, according to PFF. Bain is one of the most physically violent edge rushers in the draft. He consistently collapsed the pocket, has heavy hands, plays with excellent leverage. The concerns about his arm length was the talk of the town leading into the combine as well as post-combine. You watch a lot of YouTube videos, they have him listed as one of the top losers in the combine, and it's just one of those I just personally smile at. It's like, tape is tape. The numbers, the analytics all show that this guy has future all-pro written all over him. Okay, he's not built like what you want to create in a video game and whatnot, but so what? If you watch him on the tape, he has plenty of ways where he overcomes the quote-unquote not elite arm length. His pass rush is built on power and speed to power conversion, and he repeatedly killed tackles coming off of the edge with that speed to power conversion. I have him as my number one true edge rusher. He holds up well against the run as well. I know David Bailey, some have him higher than Rueben Bain, but Rueben Bain is very versatile, and I value edge rushers that can play both the run and the pass. With that skill set and his play strength, I think that he's more likely to come in even right away and be a rotational edge rusher, just depending on the scheme he goes to and the other edge rushers in that locker room. In my opinion, he's a top 5 pick, but I really think if he slips because of arm length concerns, he'll be perennially in discussions for All-Pro once he reaches his prime, and we're going to look back, and some GMs I think are going to get laughed at for the reasons if Rueben Bain were to slip. This dude is a top 3 prospect in this class. All right, that leaves my number 1 prospect in the class, none other than Arvell Reese, linebacker / edge out of Ohio State. Combine measured at 6'4", 243 pounds, 4'4", 40, tied with Sonny Styles. I didn't know he was going to run that fast, honestly. I knew he was athletic. I'm thinking 4'49" to 4'54", which of course is elite. Pretty much locked him in the top 3, in my opinion. 69 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks. Like I mentioned, he's primarily a stand-up linebacker. I'm very curious to see where he goes, and I just hope that he goes, and I hope he goes to the right hands of a defensive coordinator. PFF grade 76 overall. He's one of the most unique defenders in the class because he can play both off-ball linebacker and stand-up edge. You hear the Micah Parsons comparisons. I think pretty much any prospect that comes in with that type of versatility will be given that label as a Micah Parsons prototype. But you look at the tape, I saw rare closing speed and range. The combine confirmed that athletic profile, being over 240 and running a 4.4. He's best when he's attacking downhill or rushing the passer, where his obvious burst and power make him extremely disruptive. His ability to play rush, he spies quarterbacks. He can also drop into coverage, makes him the modern defensive chess piece. He's still developing technique as a pass rusher. That's not his primary position. He's a stand-up linebacker. He's a tweener though, because of that positional definition. Tweener in 2026 isn't the meaning that it used to be 20 years ago in 2006. If you were a tweener in football 20 years ago, in that era of football, that was like the equivalence of being called a game manager at the quarterback position. It was kind of more of a insult, if you will. Now with the spread offenses, you kind of need players that can play this, play that, be a Swiss Army knife, but also be elite in one skill set, which Arvell Reese has. But even still, we've seen guys come in with that tweener role, and it just hasn't worked out because there was no place that they were really elite in production at. I project Arvell Reese. I'd love him to stay at stand-up linebacker. He's true sideline to sideline. I just really hope he goes to the right hands and a defensive coordinator that really knows how to get the max out of Arvell Reese. He'll be a perennial all-pro player. He will be the top defensive player on most offensive coordinator scouting reports, and I think that he's going to wreak havoc in the NFL for a very long time. Arvell Reese is as close as you get to a can't-miss prospect. All right, there you have it. These are my top 10 prospects for the 2026 draft. As you can see, my board is defensive and trenches based. I think that this is the strength of the class. A lot of good linebackers, a lot of good edge rushers. I'm a little bit lower on a lot of the offensive prospects that you're going to see, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I said, this is my top 10 list. I encourage everyone watching this video, some guys that you disagree with, comment some guys that I'm too high on, too low on. So I fully expect engagement and your opinion. So come on, bring it on. Let's go ahead and have a debate in the comment section. I want to see what you guys think with this. Definitely, if you made it to the end of this video, I deeply appreciate that. Definitely, before you get off of here, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. We're going to go ahead and finish the 2.0. Now we're diving into each position specifically, and we're going to get all those out between now and the NFL draft at the end of April. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Hope y'all have a good one.